So I'm Peter Thomas and I'm Director of Strategy and Growth at CDI, the Conversation Design Institute here in Amsterdam. And I'm here with Hans van Dam, who's CEO of CDI, to talk a bit about conversational capital and one particular concept that's important called emotional debt. So Hans, tell us a bit about what emotional debt is.
Yeah, I mean, it's debt, right? So debt, eventually you're always going to have to pay it back. That's kind of like the key concepts. So if you think about conversational capital as a trust bank, and every interaction is either a deposit or a withdrawal. Well, emotional debt is basically you start building up, you have too many withdrawals. Think about this, like if I have, maybe a friend that you've had, and they once said something that, threw you off a little bit and irritated you, you didn't like it, you felt disrespected. It's gonna take you a long time to get on good footing with that person again. You might still interact with each other, but it needles you and it takes time to recover. It's kind of what's happening at emotional debt. So if you build AI systems that talk to customers at scale and they're rude or they're clumsy or they contradict themselves or they just give bad information, then at scale, you're talking to millions of people and you're developing emotional debt. It's indifference, it's loops and all of that, and it accumulates. And at one point, you start losing these customers and you don't know why, because it doesn't show up in your dashboards. You might think containment is up, that's great. Containment's up, wonderful. But why is it up? Well, it's because you keep the conversation short and you're actually kind of rude. So they give up on you. And then how do you get them back? So that's kind of what emotional debt is. It's the inversion of conversational capital.
All right. So if it doesn't show up in dashboards, how does an organization know that they're in emotional debt?
Yeah, quality control. People get really quiet. So that's the thing. Maybe your volume goes down. Then is that good? Have we solved our problems, or have people become indifferent? Are they going to different channels? Are they reaching out? Maybe I build a chatbot and all of a sudden my numbers are down there, but they're reaching out over the phones, or maybe they're going into the branches. So people will go quiet on the channel where you're being indifferent, and in your dashboard that might look actually very positive and it might be green while you're actually quietly upsetting your customers and creating emotional debt that you do have to pay one day.
Yeah. So you said before that a customer who stops complaining isn't a satisfied customer, they're somebody who's given up. So if leaders of organizations realize that this is happening, what do they do when they're accruing this kind of emotional debt?
You need to go to the root cause. You need to analyze what's going on here. You need to fix the problem, identify what's going on. So it's very easy to just look at your dashboard, think the numbers are good, and then 6 months later you wake up one day and it's like, where have our customers gone? So you always want to be on top of it, and a lot of it has to do with sample sizes and doing investigations and then actually solving the problems that are happening in your organization before your customers are even complaining about it publicly.
All right, great. Hans, thank you so much. So conversational capital, emotional debt are just two of the ideas we'll be talking about over the next year or so. And if any of this is landing for you, keep an eye out for our Conversational Capital Summit, an invite-only event at Norsken House in Barcelona in April 27. But for the moment, Hans, thank you very much.